No pressure.
Yeah. No, what if I lose a spoon? All right, let's take...
Oh, Jamie.
Sorry. Let's take Steven in New York City.
Hello? I'm on. Hey, can you hear me?
Hi, Steven.
Yeah, you're on with Jamie and Claire. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. Hi, Jamie and Claire.
Hello.
Hope you guys are doing great.
Really great.
Marvelously.
Especially after that call. I'm sorry. I'm a little thrown off after that.
Yeah.
I was really trying to, set up my question here so I don't sound, so I can at least credible theists out here, because, I'm sorry. I feel like calls like that is why people avoid God talk altogether. It just gets weird, but, question. Sorry, I don't want to waste time.
Yeah, I'm gonna let
question.
that one.
Oh, sorry. Again, I just got in a conversation myself the other day. I watched the show a lot, and honestly, I agree with atheists completely about evidence. About, do you have to show me why you even agree or believe to that extent? And that was my argument completely, why I think, atheists have the right to be themselves, even though I think I'm a theist, because I don't have my good arguments to back up, why I should be saying God doesn't exist, because I subscribe to the God theory of, he's something we can't describe or we can't fathom because it's just unfathomable and stuff like that. I know you probably heard that a lot. And and through that conversation, I told them, well, see, that's the point. Like, what do we even start with? Like, say God is faster than the speed of light. What kind of machine do we even begin with to measure God or find him if he's beyond speed of light? Like, it's just basically saying, like, how do I find God with humanly means if God is, out there?
Yeah, so if your hypothesis is untestable, it means that you can't confirm it and that you're not at a point where you can reasonably conclude that it's true. So if you come up with a hypothesis about the existence of a God, you can then test it with evidence, which I'm happy to hear you value. That always helps these conversations significantly.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. I was going to say, because you were nervous about how your call sounded and whether you were going to sound like a credible Christian. If you go back through the archives of the Atheist Experience, there's some pretty incredible Christians. You're doing fine.
Okay.
You're not going to get electrocuted if you go in the shower. We'll say that.
Okay.
But, yeah, so it depends on what you believe about God, right? If I believed that God was my neighbor next door, and that if I walked in there, I would instantly be showered with magical wishes, the easiest way to test that would be for me to go knock on the door next door. So what is the God that you believe exists?
I'm not really sure. Can you, repeat that, please?
Well, here we'll go step by step because I'm not sure I'm asking the right question. Do you believe that a God exists?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Unfortunately?
Yeah, because again, I can't prove it. I can't prove why my God exists. I don't have no way of proving. Because all I can say is I believe it because I have these feelings, but it's not good enough. It's not evidence. Like, people can see it.
Fair enough. I think that's...
Yeah. This is going to be a very interesting, unique, and edifying call.
Yeah, I'm loving this.
Thank you already, Stephen.
Yeah, thank you for being really authentic.
Yeah.
My thing is just because I see people, it's crazy how people will go to lengths for their beliefs, which is why I want to be the guy to do the same. But if I don't have evidence, there's nothing to say from that evidence that, okay, this is right or wrong. Like, if I believe, okay, God exists, this is why we should do right things, I don't have no evidence to say, oh, this is why believing in God produces right things because of this evidence, and this evidence will tell people, oh, but these right actions aren't as good as you think, or you can't measure it from bad to good and stuff like that. It's just all hyperbole, all hypothesis,
So
all just hopeful wishing, and
it's,
even for me, that's scary for me. You guys got me thinking a lot, and I'm just like, I gotta figure this out.
it seems to me that the point of believing for most religious people is that they get some benefit out of it. God acts in some way in their life, and if you can't find, and if that God is not giving you enough evidence of the good things or the bad things for that matter, then I'm not sure what the point of such a God would be. That makes sense?
I'm sorry to cut you off. I agree. I want you to maybe use this for an example, because I have that with so many family. Like it's for example, my mother, like she just believes she has so many problems, but she knows if she goes to church enough, that God is just gonna say, all right, you got enough points here. I will pay your bills on Saturday this month. And I'm telling her, well, what if God is giving us these applications? Maybe that's his way of helping us pay these bills. I mean, and that's why I'm saying, unfortunately, I believe in God, because, again, I could say that, and where's my evidence for my status? Like, even, no matter how smart I could sound saying I believe in God, again, without God and the evidence, it's like all of my knowledge is disarray somewhere. It's like, yeah, you're thinking straight, you're thinking out of evidence, but it's like you're trying to find a certain type of evidence, and that's still not correlated to the real reality. And again, I don't want, and that's even a confusion, because I want to make sure I'm trying to find the right evidence, is to say the evidence that pertains to reality, not just evidence that's good enough for me to say, oh, okay, this is evidence. Mm-hmm. And then, or else I'll just be another caller, and it won't work.
So, Stephen, I've got a couple things to say. One, as far as the specific example of your mother going to church in order to pay her bills, if that's her plan, I think she should apply for a job at the church, because that's a good way of getting that to work out.
Basically.
But, yeah, go to work every day. Do that. I mean, she can also work at a place that helps people more. But
I know, just knock out two stuff rocks. Yeah.
Knock out what?
I didn't hear that either.
Yeah.
No, sorry. I meant knock out two birds with one stone.
Okay. I thought you said knock over tombstones, and I was like, that.
Sorry.
Maybe so.
Please, the ACA, I can unofficially say, is opposed to grave robbing.
Or tombstone tipping.
Or tombstone tipping.
I do not do that.
No. Yeah, I know. It was a joke from a misunderstanding. But what I will say is, Stephen, from what I'm hearing, it sounds like you value evidence and you value believing for good reasons, but you still find yourself compelled to say that you believe in this God. And you say, unfortunately, presumably because it's not something that you're happy about, right? There's people that believe in God and say, oh, God is my everything. God is what wakes me up in the morning. I drink God brand coffee, whatever. But it seems like you have the opposite problem, like you may be experiencing some cognitive dissonance about this, which is you believe that you should believe things on evidence, but you don't have evidence for a thing that you believe, and that's causing some psychological distress. Do you think that might be the case?
Oh, yes, completely, because the whole reason I believe in God is because it just stems from that whole realm of, beyond space and time. Like, it's just, God is unfathomable, unseeable. Like, we have five senses that pretend to the reality. We need the sixth sense to go above the reality and all that. Like, logic can only explain so much. Science can only go so far. Like, God is beyond the limits of science. God is beyond the limits of logic. And that's where always my conversations go with the whole God thing when I'm talking to other people. And they get me stuck. And I'm always go to a soul-searchy mood, angst, and just go around walking, thinking about it. And I'm just like, I don't know how to, we can't pinpoint God, because if God is too far for us to reach, maybe there'll never be evidence for God. I don't know. I guess people would just be lost.
So here's here's what I will say. At the end of what we're able to examine and know is the unknown. And it sounds kind of like, again, that you are saying that you believe that there is a God because there are things we don't know, right? Or at least that's what sounds like a defense you're giving for this belief.
Right.
I don't know whether we've asked, but I want to move on without assuming that you were raised in a religious family in a specific religion and weren't exposed to competing religions or atheism, at least until teenage years, something like that?
Oh, yeah, basically. I'm
okay.
Catholic, and I'm Hispanic, and so we're very religious in that family aspect.
Yeah, so there's a cultural thing going too. That makes it extra difficult.
It really does.
Exactly.
And so what I'm hearing is that you still feel a need to believe in something that you're calling a God. But everything that you've described in those terms as of yet is indistinguishable from non-existence. Oh, it's
basically
beyond space and time. It's beyond what we can comprehend. There is no evidence for it, but I'm going to call it God and say that I believe in it. Now, the last sort of step in this journey of questioning why you believe something, examining whether you can believe it, the last step where there's a part of you that still wants to believe in it is kind of a conquering of yourself and realizing that, well, do you want to be a person that is capable of coming to conclusions, however difficult, for good reasons rather than for emotional reasons? Because in general, beliefs that are come to for emotional reasons are less helpful, and it would be, I think, better for everyone if they were able to examine and make decisions that way. Does that make sense?
I agree. There's plenty of times I've felt good that's been wrong, and I mean, in general, if you're drunk, you can feel good, but it's not the same as a right feeling. I completely understand that, and that's why it's kind of the whole. This is why I'm calling, because that's why I'm dealing with this whole duality. At the end of this road, I'm going to find the answer, whether it's just been me, it's just me thinking all this, me doing all this in the world, and just acting out on my beliefs, or I haven't really understand that, okay, maybe I'm just not smart enough to see the evidence or find out the evidence.
So here's what I would say, Stephen, is it might help to not think about it as the end of a road.
Right.
You're walking down a road and you can't see the end of it.
Right.
And along the way, you're trying to figure out if that road is made out of asphalt or if it's made out of Jesus.
Basically.
Basically. And so what I would say is, whether you examine it by continuing to walk or walking backwards and looking at it or looking at where you are still standing, it in my view, is very important for you, in your own terms, to figure out what kind of ground you're walking on. And I'm going to encourage that because it will make you a better walker and a better runner. Or in non-analogous terms, it will make you a better thinker. And it sounds like the last thing that's standing in your way is yourself and a kind of attachment and normalcy to that kind of view of the world. I'd like to encourage you, it's kind of risky because I haven't encouraged anyone to do this before, to look at on YouTube, on Google, the religious practices of the widest possible variety of human beings, and know that they all believe a whole variety of various things, and that it makes them happy, and they have no evidence. And then also be reminded that the thing that we're doing here isn't only happening here. Secular communities are growing. The idea that a person might not believe and that's fine is growing. And so even if you deconvert and then feel like, oh, okay, I need to tell everyone and I need to find a place to go because, there may be consequences at that point. Even if you get to that point, know that there are other humans that will help. And what I will say is, this is a thing where, I don't want to quote Shakespeare, to thy own self be true.
But you just did.
Yeah, but I just did. I didn't want to, but I said, but I did anyway, which is that there's a real value to thinking about what it actually means to believe that a God exists. And I really don't want this to sound condescending, but you're kind of already there. And it might just be that you need to look at it and kind of, I can't think of less condescending language, but admit to yourself that there's nothing there.
Give yourself permission.
Give yourself permission to
it.
just think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Honestly, that's just why I feel like I wanted to talk to. That's why I'm talking to you guys, because you guys. And again, I don't want to assume anything, but you guys are already there. You're fine and comfortable. So I just need to know your side. I've been talking to a whole bunch of theists and barely any atheists, and I just need to understand. Like, okay, but they live their lives perfectly normal, and they don't believe in all this. Like they will shut down any argument I have. Why is that? That's why I think that. Even though I could call myself a theist, if they say they're atheists, and again, I could tell them, no, they're theists, they'll still argument back at me saying they're atheists. Then, and again, they'll have a good argument. That means, for whatever reason I believe I'm a theist, if I don't have any evidence, I'm wrong. So, like you guys are saying, maybe at the end, like, walking down this road, I might realize, okay, dang, I think I'm an atheist. Because just, there's just too much in the air.
Yeah.
Too much questions, and
yeah.
I feel like I just feel like it's with all the church and praying, it's just there's still not answers. Then I
remember having.
That bothers me.
I will say, I lost, I think, one clause in that paragraph. And yes, I think that you may very well, very soon, say that you are an atheist or that you will come to that conclusion. Because, in part, you sound a little bit like me.
I was going to say, it sounds just like me.
Yeah, and if it helps at all, come on in. The water's fine.
Yeah, I remember having everything you're saying. Pretty much, I said to a friend years ago, and I was just struggling with the idea that my spiritual but not religious beliefs just weren't making sense. Everything I had tried just didn't make sense. And she said, "Claire, there is no God." She's a hard atheist. And she said, God is fabricated by human beings. I was like, it had honestly never occurred to me that I could do life without a God because I was raised with it. I was raised Catholic too, like you. And there just was a God, period. You had to figure out what it was and what it meant to you. There is no God.
Yeah.
Whoa, what a revelation to me. No pun intended.
Yeah, that's
I'm rubbing off on you.
Yeah. No. I've had this disease already. Pun.
Thank you so much. I just needed to talk to somebody, clear things up, because I just
right on.
It was in I just had it buzzing in my head, and I just needed to vocalize it, something to help establish. Oh yeah, you're on the right track. This is a good question, stuff like that. Yep. And again, that's exactly why I like listening to you guys, because I feel like you guys understand that people are stuck in this world where it's painted pretty, and that's exactly what I'm saying. And the whole reason, I think the first thing that just got me on this train, like this road in the first place, is because I kind of found this funny joke about it was basically like when God and had one of his angels come up to him and ask him, "Hey God, so you're the beginning of everything, right?" And he's like, "Yes, I'm God. I created everything, of course, because everything has to have a creator." And he's like, "All right, so what created you?" And he's like, "Nothing created me. I'm God. I am the creator. So doesn't that make you the atheist?" And then God is just like, "Okay,
Yeah.
you're going to hell."
Pretty good.
So it's like, I was like, the point of the joke is just, I'm shocking myself every day. Like, am I atheist? Am I atheist? Well, no. At first I'm getting scared, but then this doesn't have to be a scary thing. Is why I'm trying to confirm with you guys. It doesn't have to be like, oh my God, there is no God.
Yeah. The atheism isn't scary, but what can be challenging is how it can affect your relationships. So do think about that.
I would say do think about that.
But still, be true to yourself.
After you think about your own mind
because
and conclusions.
What happens with a fresh new atheist is they want to run around and say, "I've figured it out. I'm an atheist." And if you run up to grandma and say that, it might not go over so well.
Yeah.
Right? Look, I'm well aware that this is not going to sit well with others. This is for me. This is just me talking. Hopefully, people who are listening can just take my example as there where I'm at. And honestly, this is just. Hopefully, you guys can help me. I'm not telling nobody about this because I know it's just not other people are ready. But that's why I need to talk to you guys because I feel like I'm so close, but maybe. Yeah, because I just need to make sure I'm not just saying, I'm an atheist because I know for sure there's no God. But
and if you're in New York, you must have a bunch of organizations you can go hang out with, secular organizations.
And if not, we'll help you.
Yeah,
right.
I'm going to look around and see if there's more people I could be friends. But again, guys, thank you so much.
Thank you, Stephen.
And keep in touch, whether you prefer to keep in touch on the Facebook group, multiple on the Talk Heathen Reddit, which is reddit.r/Talk Heathen, or by email, which is mail@talkheathen.com. Please do, because you're right there, bud.
Mm-hmm. So
you're on the diving board.
Thank you. That's exactly where I'm at. I just want to make sure the water is cool. I won't hurt myself landing. I want to dive nice and smooth right there.
Yep.
So I can just enjoy the ride.
Right.
But again, thanks, you guys. Have a great day.
Thank you, Stephen.
Right. Thank you. You too.
Bye. Thank you.
All right. So in just a moment, we're going to take the call. Linda from California. Don't hang up. I know you've been on the line for a long time. But I want to reiterate